Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to Project Gluey. Bit of a problem. We've got a bit of a problem with the rear lights. I don't know what's causing it at the moment. Before we get into that, we've got to finish off that service. So the first thing we're going to do is see if we can get that pollen filter fitted, or find the old one and get it out and get the new one in, and then we'll get in to what the problem is. So let's go, let's do it. Let's get on and see if we can get this car finished and sort out the problems. Right, the time has come for the first time to do a pollen filter, cabin filter, whatever you like to call it. So, how do you do it? This is not a how-to, I stress, because I've never done it before. So, I bought this spanner specially. It's a 5.5mm offset spanner. That's the one apparently you need to get to the cover once you get this panel off. As I mentioned earlier, I think earlier on in the video, you depress the pedal out the way, clutch pedal all the way to the floor to get it out the way, allows you better access. I've seen loads of people comment on Facebook groups and so on about how they broke their back, and not literally obviously, and what a pain this was. So I'm not sure there's any easy way of doing it. They may not have known about pushing the clutch pedal, which was given to me by one of you kind people, and I've forgotten who it was now. So we'll get a bit of wood in there and do that, or something in there and do that, push it against the seat and push it back down. Yeah, first of all, you know, I've had this panel off so many times in the past when I've changed dashes, changed airbag, ECU and so on, which, because that's obviously behind there as well. I've never even noticed it. So it's, yeah, let's find it, let's do it, let's get this panel off. So to get this panel off, we need a T20 for that one. Like that, get that out. And then we need a T30 for these two. I can't really, there's nowhere for me really to set the camera up. I'm not sure I've undone that screw all the way. Yeah, I can't do this one-handed. So I'm going to get this panel off and then we'll come straight back. Right, now we're in here. I can't even see it. Where? Oh, is that it up there? Don't know. Not even sure where it is. See, I see what they mean about getting the clutch pedal out of the way. Well, there's your airbag ECU just there. And I'm not sure. I need to get a torch in here. I think that might be it right up the back there. What a stupid place to put it. Let's get a torch and we'll have a look. Okay, so I think it's probably that. But someone has put something else in it by the looks of it. I think it's that. I can't. Someone's put a screw in there, which I'm sort of glad about. Is it that? I can't see anything else. So I'm assuming it's that. Oh, hang on, I think it's... Yeah, you know what, the panel's loose. It's obviously been done before by somebody when they've serviced the car. But I think the top of the panel is loose, so I'm going to... Hopefully I can just get a screwdriver on that. I don't even need to get the clutch pedal out of the way. I can't do it. I cannot do it for the life of me. Because it's been replaced with a screw, and I don't know how they got that screw in there, unless they've used a flexible shaft screwdriver. But I cannot... If I try and come in from here, the steering column's in the way. If I try and come in from the front with an angle, the steering column's in the way. It's too deep. Yeah, unless I can get a screwdriver with an... I thought I did have one of those flexi heads. I'll have to have a look, see if I can find it. But otherwise I'm going to have to order a set of flexi screwdrivers, because I can't... Yeah, that would have been easy with a... I don't really see what the issue is using the correct screwdriver. Maybe an ordinary... Sorry, spanner. Maybe an ordinary spanner, but an offset spanner would do that easy. But because someone's taken it upon themselves to whack a screw in there, I can't do it. Sure. Right, these have come today. This is the one that I'm thinking is probably going to be a good one because it's a ratchet. You only get one screwdriver bit with it, but they're all sort of standard anyway. So I'm hoping that because of the narrowness of the profile, that should be enough to do that, I think. Failing that, we've got a bendy screwdriver I bought, which obviously same applies with in there. So I can try that one first. It looks like the cover has got actually 2 screws on. There was only one in it, so I'm only going to put one back. It holds on okay, so that's what I'm going to do. But when I get to do the next one with a nut on it, the 5.5mm nut, that's maybe why that's awkward, because there's not just one, there's 2. So I'm going to get back down there again. This is the next day, obviously, because these have arrived. Let's see if we can do it now. Get it back on again. Right, I've got it done up as much as I can get it undone. Done up rather, using this. Couldn't get the other thing on it again. It was still too deep. But I'll say it shouldn't be a screw, so I think it's more awkward because it is a screw. Anyway, it's on, so I can put the panel back on. So at least that's one job done. Thank God for that. Right, I didn't record all of this because I was trying to get to the bottom of it, and at the moment I can't. Now, as you know, everything was working fine on the back here. All the lights were all wired in correctly. Fog and reversing light are all working nice, and they are still all working. However, when I turn the lights on, the lights work, but I get an error on the dash saying check running lights. Now I've plugged into multi-ECU scan, and I've run the actuator test, so you can press a button on multi-ECU scan to activate all sorts of things on the car individually. When I activate the right light, it comes up and it says that there's an error on the right light. When I turn the lights on, they work. Now it does say front or rear, however I've not touched the front. And so what I've done, I thought that when I've been messing around with the bumper and I've had the lights hanging over here, maybe the wire's got damaged, or a wire's got damaged, or one of the connections or something like that has come loose. So I've got a light which is a spare one I had from the other side, and I had a spare one of these from this side. So I've swapped bulbs over, I've swapped these things over, exactly the same thing. I've checked all the wires, so what I thought I'd do is I'd take that old wiring off, loom off, and what I've done is I've wired in an original loom. Connected all the wires first, no problems, soldered them all up, no problems, apart from the error of course. Everything works, fog lights work, reversing light works. If I just put the car in reverse, no lights on, no problems. Obviously to put the fog lights on, I have to put the lights on, otherwise fog lights don't come on, of course. Interestingly, if I connect to this rather than this one, if I take that one out and connect that one up, the wrong filament comes up because they're wired differently. So on one of them the brake light is the brake light, on the other one that same wire is the running light. So when I connect that to this loom and I turn the lights on this one, the brake light part of the element comes on. However, when I do that, there's no error. So that is the thing that's a complete mystery. I've tried everything. I don't know what else to do. So I'd say it all works, but we've got that error up. I've got my MOT booked for next week. I'm not sure whether that would make it fail the MOT, the fact that it's got that error coming up. I don't know. So if I can't get to the bottom of it, I'm going to have to contact them and ask them whether that will fail the MOT. It may come up as an advisory, it may not, I don't know. They don't like error lights, do they? However, it's working. So I need to check that with them. Now, the only thing that has changed since it was working fine and now it's not, is I took the bumper off, to do the exhaust and then put the bumper back on. Nothing else has changed. So unless, but of course they're working. The reversing light and the fog light are working. So unless I've somehow disturbed the wiring down there, so it says it's open circuit. Now an open circuit would make you think that it's not working, but it is working. If an earth was compromised, or if it was a bad earth, would it still work? I don't know. I'm not an electrician. I'm not an auto electrician. I don't know. But that's the only thing that has changed since I've started getting that error up. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to take the bumper off again and have a look at that. I'm at a complete and utter loss, apart from that, as to what it could possibly be. I'm just completely flummoxed. But it's really strange that you put the wrong side in, so it's wired for the brake light rather than the rear light, so it comes on, but no error on the dash. I've tried disconnecting. Obviously if you disconnect one completely, it will come up with the error anyway because it's not connected. So I've tried different ones. See, I've got two of these, two separate ones. I've tried both, exactly the same thing. So yeah, I'm at a complete and utter loss. I don't know. I really do not know. Obviously I can't have that coming up, even if it passes its MOT. I can't sell the car with an error coming up every time you turn the lights on. So I've got to get to the bottom of it somehow. Now, I know I've plugged those incorrectly down there. Did maybe the earth come out when I disconnected it before, or come out a little bit, or I don't know. But the only way I can do it, the only thing I can do is take the bumper off, check that wiring, reconnect the wiring. It's going to be an earth, I think, isn't it, more than anything? It's probably going to be an earth. I've checked the wire here. So the wire here, this wire in here, this red wire here, is the one that goes into the loom and runs along here and out here. That's the one, that's the live for the fog light, and that works. The earth for the fog light, if you remember, runs to the earth over here somewhere, I think. Or was it to the earth there? I can't remember now. Can't remember how I ran it. No, I think I ran it over to there, haven't I? But I haven't touched any of that, so why all of a sudden that would stop working, I really don't know. The only thing I can think of is I ran an earth from there, I tapped into there for an earth and ran that earth to the lights, for the lights and the sensors. Now sensors are working as well. Sensors are working fine. Lights are working fine. No errors come up when I put those lights on, apart from the fog light, of course, because it's already up. The error's already up because you have to turn the lights on to be able to use fog light. So yeah, anyone got any? I mean, hopefully I'm going to get to the bottom of this before you see this video. And obviously if I do, it will be in this video as to what the problem was. But if I don't, and any of you have got any ideas, please let me know. So I've been trying numerous things to try and sort this out, and I'm afraid I can't fathom out what's going on. The latest thing I tried was I cut back into the earth there, because I think it's an earth thing, and I joined that earth to the earth on this one. And same thing, as soon as you turn the lights on, although the lights are working, you get that error. So I just don't know what it is. I do not know what it is. So I think I am going to have to try and get an auto electrician to come and take a look. I've got nothing else left that I can try. I've literally tried everything. So if it was for the fact that it wasn't okay originally, then I could, understand that there was a fault. But everything, as you saw in the previous video, everything was connected, tested, worked fine, no errors. Connected, soldered, fine. The only thing I've done is take that bumper off. I've checked all those connections and they're all okay. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's going to be an earth, I reckon. it's I'm not repeating myself again, I know, sorry, but as I say, it's that thing where you put the incorrect side in, and although it comes on with a brake light because the connections are the other way around on the other side, the error doesn't come up. That is the really, really strange thing about it. Absolutely bizarre. So there's not much else I can do, I'm afraid. We'll come back when there is an electrician's been to look at it, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it. We've got to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to contact the MOT garage and find out whether it will fail the MOT because of that. Hopefully not, and I can still get it MOT, but I'll make contact with them and ask them. Right, the weekend has passed, and since then I've made some inquiries about this problem, and it does stem back to that difference in the wattage bulbs, or the wattage of the bulbs I should say, which was not my thought about it to start with, but that seems to be what the issue is. So if I haven't already gone over it, so I'm not sure whether I did this on camera or not, so I'll explain it again. If I already have, I'll cut this bit out. But so basically the old style Series 3 lights, as you know, use separate bulbs for brake light and stop light. Now those bulbs are 10 watt. On the new one, I've got a spare one here sitting around somewhere, one without bulbs in it. One's an indicator, one's the rear light. So we've only got 2 bulbs as opposed to 4 bulbs. On here, presumably it's because they've redesigned this, it's that they're only 5 watt bulbs. So the car, the BCM is looking for 10 watt, and the bulbs are only 5 watt. 21 watt for the stop light and 5 watt for the running light. Hence the error. It's strange that it's only coming up as one side, and I did try swap them over and it still does it. So I thought, a simple solution, I'll order some P21 10, so 21 watt / 10 watt. Don't exist, you can't buy them. I've looked absolutely everywhere, they do not exist. So that was that one out the window. So I contacted a fella on the Abarth Facebook group. I'm not sure if he's the one who runs it, but I think he was the one who gave me the instructions, the little, wherever it's gone, the little circuit diagram for the lights. I think it was him. It wasn't him that did that circuit diagram, but it was him, I believe, that I got it from. Now he sent me a link for some bulbs, some LED bulbs that he says he reckons will work, and he's going to do it, but he hasn't got around to it. So I put out loads of feelers about, how have people got around this, and it seems that nobody has. So they've all got that light out, and they've light up, the warning light up, and they've just put up with it and left it like that. And a couple of people have said my car passed the MOT fine, so it shouldn't be an issue because the MOT is tomorrow. Haven't got the bulbs yet. They're not going to be coming. Well, I don't know when they'll come. They'll probably get just. I ordered them Friday night, I think it was, or Saturday morning. So they won't come till tomorrow at the earliest. If they happen to come in the morning, I can put them in, and job's a good one. But if not, assuming that it is still going to pass the MOT, I will do them tomorrow. Oh, sorry, after the MOT. So it's a bit of a weight off my mind, and it is nice to know that my wiring is okay, because I was questioning that. The only thing I need to do is I left one here, wherever it is, or did I do it back up? I can't remember now. No, I think I actually did resolder it in the end. So I just need to make sure that I have done that. I'll take the lights out again. I am going to take this bumper off again, because it's not bolted on, apart from, I don't think there's any bolts in it. I'm just going to take it off because that down there, that has 3M sticky tape on it, but because there's not much of a contact area, I'm a bit worried that it's not going to stick very well and end up falling off. So I'm going to whack some glue on the other side, just to make sure it doesn't fall off. It's a lot easier if I do that off the car, and then we can leave it a little while and then put it back on. So that's the plan at the moment. Get rid of all this stuff, and then I think what we're going to do, just going to give it a clean up on the inside. We've done the service, we've done the pollen filter, trying to think what else there is to do. They've got a couple of little dents to try and pull out. We've got a little dent there to pull out, and this little one I noticed here that's got looks like a little shopping trolley dent. See if I can get those out. If not, I will get the I mean, that one should come out all right. Whether that one will or not, I don't know. If not, I'll get the PDR guy down to do it. He charges me like 25 quid a panel. And so there's not an awful lot more to do. The gear stick, I may have found out what the problem with the stiffness of that side to side is. The linkage, it's not, from what I've seen on YouTube, it's not the linkage that's by the gear stick, it's under the bonnet, so I might have to take the battery tray out to get to it. It goes rusty and it needs to be rubbed down with a bit of sandpaper and then greased up, so hopefully that's all it is. But we'll have a look at that. And I'll take the leather bit off and just pull it up out of the way, just have a look at that linkage there and see if it is dry at all, but I think it's the linkage the other end from what I've seen. So we'll do that. So that's the plan at the moment, and not an awful lot more to do. So let's just get on with that. I'm just going to get this off, get it all back on again, put the side carpet back in, and then we'll come back and we'll see if we can get those dents out. Right, that's the bumper back on in its final position at long last. I've just got to do the bolts up at the sides. You can see it's dropping down a little bit there. So I've just got to do those up and do the wheel arch liners up, which I'm going to take the jacket up and get the wheels off again. I am going to... Another reason for getting the wheels off, or one of the wheels off, is because someone in Italy asked me about the diameter. No, actually, what am I talking about? No, sorry, someone in Italy has asked me the diameter of these. So he said the internal diameter, but I'm going to measure it anyway, and I'll take a photo, and actually I can't upload a photo to YouTube, can I? I'll just give him the dimensions, but I think I've probably made a decision that regardless of what, unless there's no mention of the rear brake discs on the MOT, which I think there will be because it was an advisory last time that they were slightly scored. I think I'm probably going to do them anyway. And there are two different types. There's a smaller one and a bigger one, so I just want to make sure I'm ordering the right type. That goes for the discs and the pads. So I just want to make sure I'm ordering the right ones. They're not uber expensive. A little bit more expensive than the normal ones, but because I think this is a 500 Abarth rather than a 595, they're probably the smaller ones. They look quite small. So I'm just going to have a measure of the length of the pads and the diameter of the discs before I order them. And I'll get those ordered today anyway. As I say, I think I have got someone who's, as I say, wants it. Someone who's very interested in this and wants to come and view it. I've been keeping them updated and they're quite excited. So I don't want to be cutting corners just to get them here and get it sold. I wanted to have a little drive in it, actually. I've only taken it out once when I picked my daughter up from the station, but I've got the logbook back now. One owner. Obviously I've put an extra owner on it, but it allows me to chase the service history down, which there is the same company has emailed it. I think it's 4 years in a row. So hopefully they will have some history with a bit of luck. I've already tracked a little bit of the history down, first couple of services, but need to get more recent stuff. Yeah, so that's the reason I get the logbooks, because you can't do that without the document reference number. If I've got a service history with it, like I have with the one that's parked out on the road, the new white one, which was the stolen recovered one, I've got full service history with that, so I don't need to get the logbooks. I haven't sent off for that. I just need to make sure that it can be. I need to phone the DVLA and make sure it can be taxed at the post office, which, as long as it's shown in trade, it will be able to be taxed at the post office by the new owner, or I'll do that on their behalf. Yeah, that's all I need to do, I think. So yeah, got to get those dents out, clean up inside. I haven't jet washed the, because it's got original Abarth mats, which are in relatively good condition, but I'm going to give them a jet wash, so I'm going to do that in a minute. Clean the wheels up. I'm going to touch the wheels up. I probably won't bother doing that until such time as I get it back from the MOT. I'm not going to bother cleaning it yet. I'll do that. I'll clean it on the inside, but I'm not going to bother cleaning it on the outside until such time as it's back from the MOT. And I've got a spider crawling down my camera. I don't know if that just went in front of the lens. Get off. And of course cam belt's being done on Wednesday, so yeah, we'll do it after that. But I do want to have a little look at that gear selector today, see if I can figure that one out. Right, we are pretty much done now. So the only thing I've got left to do, I've done these dents. That's virtually gone. You can barely feel it. You can only see it if you get a certain angle, and that one's gone as well, pretty much. Can't really see it. It came out quite nicely actually, using the old hot glue. I did burn myself with the glue, but I actually got a burn on my finger. That was really, really painful. Ouch. So yeah, so we've got to get up in here. I'm going to get one wheel off, measure the discs, measure the pads, measure that thing on there, the centre cap, and then we'll do up all the bolts, and then we're done on this for the time being. As I say, MOT tomorrow. I think I've checked all the lights and everything. I think the wiper blades are all okay. I'll check the washer bottle fluid and so on, and then hopefully we'll come back with an MOT. Whether it has those advisories on it, which it might well do, but once I've got the size of those, I can at least get those ordered, those discs. And as I say, I think we're probably going to put them on regardless. Silly not to, I suppose, really. It's just I was a bit put off by doing it because of the that situation with the bolts on the back, but someone's told me it's a swing bolt, and if you undo the bottom one, and it swings out the way, so you might not actually need to take it off. So that'll be we'll see, but I'll give it a go. But that will be tomorrow. No, I probably won't do that tomorrow. I'm probably not going to do that until next week. This, apart from those brakes, if this passes this MOT tomorrow, apart from the clean up on the inside, I have actually cleaned it up on the inside a bit, but a final clean up on the outside, final clean up on the inside, clean the wheels up, black the tyres up, touch up the wheels where they need to be. I think, oh, and that gear stick, of course, still got to have a look at that, which I say I think is the linkage. Apart from that, I think we're pretty much done on this now, which is marvellous. Oh, those bulbs, we've got to wait for those bulbs to come, which I'm hoping might come tomorrow with a bit of luck. If not, as soon as I get them, they'll go in. So it's not going to be done until next week, but there's very, very little left to do, apart from those brakes. So I'll let you know how we go tomorrow with the MOT, and then we'll finish off this video, and then we'll probably just have the one more video on it, and then it'll be up for sale. Well, won't even need to go up for sale, because as I say, there's someone who's itching to come and have a look. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll let you know how the MOT went. Right, so today's the day, MOT day. Fingers crossed. I hate MOT days. It's worse than going to the dentist. Got to go in about 15 minutes. Appointment is at 12:15, so I'll go into town, have a little meander around, buy a few bits and pieces in the shops, and then come back, and fingers crossed we'll have a pass. And there's going to be the advisory on those rear brakes, isn't it? I wish I'd just done them now before the MOT, but as I say, I am going to do them. I'm hoping they might come today, but probably not. But I will, as soon as I'm back from the MOT, I will show you either the failure notice, or I will show you the pass certificate. And please, 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 please. Got 3 cars I need. They're all almost done, and they need to go and move on to the next. So yes, back shortly. Well, in a couple of hours for me, when I'm back from the MOT. See you in a bit. Okay, right, we are back from the MOT, and before I show you the MOT, let me just show you a couple of little things that I've done. So I got these from AliExpress a while ago. They've been sitting in the boot. I've just given this a good clean up and degrease, and I put them on. They look surprisingly good, and they're really, really sticky, so I don't think they're going to come off. I like them. I think they're really nice. One each side, and then we've got some little, they need trimming down because they're too big, but little Abarth cup holder inserts there. I have got I've got a scorpion to stick on the bonnet, and another one to stick. I don't know where I'm going to stick it. And I've also got some Italian stripes. I had them on my old 500X just here. They look really good actually. You stick them to the bonnet, to the bumper. These ones come in 3 separate bits. I'm going to have to try and stick them together. But yes, we are back from the MOT, and we have a pass. As we knew, monitor and repair if necessary. Brake disc worn, pitted or scored, but not seriously weakened. It does say discs all round corroded. That's because it hasn't been driven. They're not corroded as such. It's just because it hasn't been driven. They were crunching all the way there. Started to less crunching coming back, but yeah, Coil spring corroded. I think that came up once before. I'd seen it. It's not. I say it's corroded. It's got some surface rust on it, which just needs brushing off. I forgot to do it. I think I did the other side, and I didn't do that side for some bizarre reason. But yeah, all done. So I was hoping they might come today. I do have the mechanic come in tomorrow to do the cam belt, and I was sort of hoping that while he's here and I've got the parts, he could do the brakes for me as well, because it'll take him less than an hour, and he only charges 40 quid an hour. So I thought it was less grief just to get him to do it. But of course, if it doesn't, and he hasn't got the time, he's got to go on to another job, then I'll have to do it myself. But yeah, just thought as he was coming. And I'm also going to ask him to lube up that the little arm that with a sideways movement, because you have to take the air filter and that off to get to it. Had I realised that when I did the oil change and that, I could have done it, but I didn't. So that needs to come off again. And of course, as he's got to take that off tomorrow to do the cam belt, I'm going to just say to him, can you give that a little rub down and lube that up as well, and hopefully that will take care of it. It does make it slightly difficult to drive, because although it goes into gear perfectly fine, when you take it out of gear, the gear stick doesn't return to the centre. Wherever you take it out of gear from, that's where it stays, and you have to physically move it, which is a bit, I mean, you'd get used to it, but obviously I'm not going to sell it like that. It'll be whatever it is, even if it's not that, whatever it is, I'll be doing it. But I just thought, again, you know, as he's here, I might as well ask him to do that, because that'll literally take 5 minutes once you've got, you know, access to it. You can't get to it by taking the battery tray out. It needs to go. You need to get in from the back, and that air filter housing and what have you is all in the way. So yeah, so that's it. So for the time being, I think we'll probably call it a day on this. We've got enough content for a video. I think we'll have one more video on this car. The various bits and pieces that I've got left to do, which isn't very much. Final wash, final clean, and then it'll be job done. Right, so that is the end of this video. Nice MOT. It's always good to get a nice MOT. And yeah, so we'll have one more video, which probably won't be much on it. We've got the cam belt being done tomorrow, rear brakes, the gear stick stiffness, and the new bulbs, which haven't come yet. So obviously there was no mention of that on the MOT, they've just passed it, but we do need to sort that out. And as soon as those bulbs are gone, we'll get those in, and hopefully that will make the error go away, and we will might even do a little video on that, because there's a lot of people that are putting up with it, rather than having resistors built in. They're just using LEDs that haven't got resistors built in. So hopefully it's going to sort it out. I've got the sun in my eyes, that's why I'm pulling faces. So that's it for this video. As I say, I hope you've enjoyed it. Still a little bit more to go, but not too much, so there will be one more video. So until then, as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you next time. So until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.